How do you break down a debacle like that? To help us out, our Cowboys insider Ed Werder in the studio. And Ed, the Lions just scored again. They just scored another one. Boy, I don't know how you sum up a loss like this one, but again, if the seat wasn't hot for head coach Mike McCarthy, our poll this morning, folks weighing in saying, you know what, they are maybe ready to make a change. It's too soon for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not too soon to confront Jerry Jones about the prospects of that, and we certainly did that yesterday. And he insisted that he was not of a mind at this point to consider making a coaching change. But the last time the Cowboys lost their first 3 home games was 2010. You know what happened in 2010? It's the only season in Jerry Jones's 35 years as owner that he made an in-season coaching change. He fired Wade Phillips, and he replaced him with Jason Garrett, who was on the staff. But they were 1-7 at that time. It's 3-3 now. I would say this, though. Dak Prescott, we saw him take a wrecking ball to his Frisco home last week. His team is in ruins right now. And Jerry, if this continues, he's going to be taking a wrecking ball to the whole organization, starting with the coaching staff in the offseason.
Well, with the bye week coming up, you know that the chatter about a coaching change potentially that's going to be dominating the headlines. But they did try to tamp things down a little bit. Jerry Jones did. It's hard for the players to have something to do with it, though, when they're not on the field. You've seen a ton of injuries along the defensive line, really across this roster, but defense especially. The issues, though, that we're seeing that allow a team to come in there and score 40-plus points on you, is this about those injuries, or is this a coaching issue? You've got Mike Zimmer in for Dan Quinn. You've got a different defense. Where do you place the blame?
Well, Jerry's right. It is everybody's fault, and maybe he's not being more than magnanimous when he says it's the front office and he'll take part of the blame. I mean, they knew when they lost to Green Bay last year in that disgraceful home playoff loss in the first round that this team was not good enough, and yet they did virtually nothing in free agency to improve the team. They relied totally on the draft for an infusion of new talent. And so, of course, the locker room knows that Jerry didn't make the proper investment, and they're playing accordingly. But to your point, the defense, Mike Zimmer's without half his starters. Mm-hmm. They're transitioning to this new defensive scheme. And one of the big things that Dan Quinn created here was a takeaway defense. They led the NFL across 3 seasons in takeaways, in points off turnovers, in defensive touchdowns. And right now, yesterday, they're -5 in that category. They're -6 for the year. They've scored a league-low 3 points off takeaways. So that's a big part of it. The defensive part of the equation is too.
Well, in all those categories they led in last year, they're in the bottom 5 in this year on the defensive side of the football. Offensively, this is a team that year in, year out has historically had a solid offensive line that right now is not opening any holes for the run game. And if they can't get that going, they can't get anything going.
Right, they can't use their defense or their run game to protect a bad defense. They create no offensive balance, so they're forced to rely entirely on the passing game. Now, this is one of the big indictments of Mike McCarthy, because if they go in that game yesterday, you know your defense is going to get scored on. The Lions are too good. Your defense is too decimated. The offense is what failed, and that's what's the most bewildering part of the whole puzzle, and that's where Mike McCarthy is most culpable. He is the game planner. He is the offensive play caller, and yet here we are, Dak Prescott with the game, in hand still in the first half with his 3rd red zone turnover in 2 weeks. And as he said, after I threw that interception, I can't think of another good thing that happened to us. So, he's thrown 3 interceptions trying to get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. Mm-hmm. That's not why Jerry's made Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback in football and CeeDee Lamb the 2nd highest paid receiver in football.
Well, and those two didn't get to practice enough in the preseason. That's certainly a big issue, but Dak kind of alluded to practice overall. Yeah. Is this team not practicing hard enough? I mean, what are you hearing behind the scenes?
So that's another potential indictment of the head coach. That's his first and primary responsibilities, to get the team ready to play during the course of a week. And now here we are after the Baltimore game. Players like Jordan Lewis, one of the team captains on the leadership council, he beseeched the players for not properly practicing and saying, if you don't practice hard, I don't care how good you are, you're going to get exposed. Yesterday, Dak Prescott at the podium postgame saying the same thing. We have to practice harder. We have to play harder. It's a choice. He said Mike McCarthy tells him all the time that finishing games and being physical, that's a choice. And right now, the players, they're not making the right choice.